Hi, I'm Kyle, and on this episode of the MWA podcast, Jeff and I are asking David Wright the 5 questions. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out David's interview on episode 590. So welcome back to the show, David.
Thank you. Good to be here again.
Yes, and before we get to the 5 questions, let's dip our toes into the woodworking news. So first off, we had the co-pilot drilling system. Now, this was sent in to us by Memorial Woodshop. And it looks like a much cheaper alternative to the Rob Box drill that I think it had to have been a year or so ago when we mentioned this. But Rob Box finally did come out with that drill. And that drill was kind of interesting because it would tell you the angle you were drilling at, and then it would do like some of these new drill presses that have all the computerized stuff where it stops at a certain depth. They were doing that with a hand drill. And it looked very interesting, and they finally came out with it. And yes, it's $1,500 for a hand drill. So just like, yeah, that's a little too much. But this,
stick with the blue tape on the drill bit.
Yeah,
for now.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting alternative to that, and it's this little device that you attach to the back of your drill, and apparently it will tell you what the angle is and stuff like that, and kind of give you green lights when you're drilling at the correct angle. So you can zero this thing in to whatever angle you want to drill at, and it looks really, really interesting. And I don't know, when I look at these things, I think, okay, how's this going to work in real life and stuff like that? So I'm still kind of out on that, but it does have some interesting stuff in it. The accuracy has 3 accuracy settings. So it's either plus or minus 1 degree, plus or minus half a degree, or plus and minus a quarter of a degree. So I think my seat drilling guide is, well, let's put it this way. Mine's 100% accurate. But if you use my little angle gauge, of course, you got parallax errors and stuff like that. But when I calibrate that, I calibrate it within 1/10 of a degree. So, but if you're off a quarter degree for chair making, I don't know. Let's put it this way. I ordered one of these, so we'll see how it is. They're on pre-order right now. I don't think they're going to ship them out till in the till I don't know, April or so. So that probably means May or June. So we'll see. But apparently they got them like half price off, or almost half price off if you do the pre-order. So I figured, I like to always, look at all kinds of drilling stuff. And so I ordered one. So we'll see. The only caveat to this is this will fit on all your drills that have a backer plate on them that has 4 screws. They make different things for if you're attaching this to a DeWalt or a Milwaukee or Metabo or Flex or all these different drills, but you need to pay attention to your drill and make sure that the adapter plate will fit on it, because I have both a couple of Milwaukees and 1 DeWalt, but they're all a few years old and this will not fit on them. So I may have to buy me a new drill too to make this thing work, which is not a problem, but but anyway, but it's kind of neat because basically you order this adapter plate, which costs about $18 and fits on whatever drill you want. And then the actual core unit you buy separately. And it looks like it's going to be $130, but right now they have them for $68. So almost half off there. And yeah, so, if you're interested in it, check it out. But I think it might be interesting to play around with. I'm not sure how it's going to work for chair making, but we'll find out. I think we still got one thing. I have my seed drilling guide, which works great. I think one of the things I've always noticed, people go, "Oh, I don't have the hand-eye coordination for that or whatnot." I don't think it's really hand-eye coordination. It's a lot of muscle memory, and it's a lot of kind of compensating for your own natural motion, because this is my theory and I could be wrong, but all of our fingers, wrists, arms, legs, whatever, they all move in arcs. And when you're drilling holes like that, you need to go straight. And so it's kind of counterintuitive to drill something straight and not put an arc on it as you're trying to press something in. So I don't know. That's just a theory of mine. Why, it's difficult for some people to do that. So I don't think it has a lot to do with coordination. It has a lot to do with compensating for the way your body works, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a theory. Anyway, I could be wrong, but anyway, it looks pretty interesting. Like I said, I'll give it a test when it comes in, and I'll report back. Next up is a new saw blade cleaning kit from Rockler for your table saw blades. I think it works from blades up from 6 1/4 inch up to 12 inches. So it'll even do some of the big table saw blades. But it's a neat little polycarbonate thing that you can put your saw blade in. It has little raised edges. So if you have solution in there, it keeps it raised off. And then it's got this little thing that attaches to your arbor. So you can, flip it back and forth without, just dunking your hands in the cleaning solution. And then it comes with a nice little brush, and it's $40. And it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look really nice.
Yeah. I think Microjig has a saw blade cleaning kit, but I think it's close to $100. But I think it has built-in scrubbers and interesting stuff. I thought that was pretty interesting too. But this looks like more something I would pick up. I have their previous version of this, which is basically you got a cleaning solution and you got this plastic tub with a lid that came in. The only bad thing about that is when you put your saw blade in there is the way the plastic was, the bottom of it was deformed, so it would come up a little bit. So you actually had to put weight on your saw blade to keep it in the solution. Or put a lot of solution in there. So I think they thought this through, and this looks to be pretty cool. Well, that's all we have for the woodworking news. So let's move on to our patrons. So who do we have to thank this week?
A big shout out to always our Patreon supporters. Today we're giving a big shout out to Brian Brazil. If you'd like to be a supporter of the MWA podcast, go to patreon.com MWA podcast.
Fantastic. And as you can tell, Jeff has never been on one of our episodes with Brian Brazil. Besides Wilbur Pan, he's probably our second most guest. We usually have him on once a year, and I think him and Wilbur are duking it out to see who's been on the show the longest. Or as the most times, should we say. Longest and most times. But anyway, thanks, Brian, so much. And with that, let's move on to the 5 questions. So, David, what is your favorite tool? And as always, our limit is 23.
Favorite tool? Oh, gosh. Yeah, more or less, what's my favorite thing to do? The scorp, carbon seats, it's so relaxing in a lot of ways, especially if you're working with some good wood.
Yeah.
Good soft, butternut or some pine that's reacting properly. But yeah, the scorp, you're chunking out real fast. You're moving along. You can carve with it, and then finishing up with trebuchets, man. It's just good work.
Do you have what kind of scorp do you have?
I've got several. I've got the very first one I ever bought. I don't even know what the name of it is.
Yep.
It is one everybody had back in the day. You could buy them from Highland Hardware, and it's actually a fairly good. I had to modify it quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's a nice one. I've got a bar.
Okay. Yep.
And I like that. I'm used to it. It was a little strange getting at first because it has such a tight radius, but it cuts good and everything. So I'm looking at another one possibly. Dave Sawyer's George Sawyer. He's got a blacksmith up that way, and I think Chris Swartz was reading about it on one of his blogs. Yeah, it's back that shape. I like that shape, that wider shape,
Yep.
More broad, and you can get it right up to the edge there on your gutter. I'm looking at that. I might venture in and buy one of those just to. But anyway,
I have a bar scorp myself, but I have a rare one because I was calling to order one, and they said, "Well, we're sold out," but we were doing this. They were doing a test run of some scorps that had. Kind of like that shallow radius, and then it curves up on the ends, and they go, "Would you like one of those?" And I went, "Yeah, sure." I've never seen it on their website, so I think they just did a limited run of them, and I happen to pick one up, and it's fantastic. It's a great score.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that blacksmith he's in Vermont. That Lucy, I think it's Lucy Avery or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
that's
familiar.
it.
Yeah.
That guy, those wedges he makes are my favorite wedges. I bought a couple of. I think I have 3 or 4 of his starter wedges, and man, they were just like my go-to. I absolutely love them. Everything that guy makes. That guy's a very talented blacksmith. He's very
must be. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was at Handworks last time we were. Last time
I'd love to meet him.
Yeah,
I'd love to meet him.
Oh yeah, yeah. You put an order in. You may get one in the next 6 months to a year. I guess it's something like that, but that's fine. Yeah, and it's it's not overly priced. It fits as everything they say it does, which I no doubt it does. But I've talked to other people, and they're like, no, I still like my bar. So they've used them both. So I don't know, but. Yeah, it's sometimes I go back to my original one, and it's just for fun. And it's got it was made in Germany. It says West Germany on it before the wall and everything.
Wow.
And I don't know who puts it out. It used to be a name I think on it. I couldn't hardly read it, but I don't know. It's got good steel. Works good if you modify it. Bend the handles. You could bend them up, and I put new handles on it. Some curly maples. Looks good, and does an adequate job. Yeah, a little hard, on cherry and that. It's not that beefy in certain areas. That worry about my handles breaking again. I've had that happen. I had to weld them back, but yeah.
Well, what kind of traversers do you have?
It's one that was made. I can't think of the name of it. Who made it? I may have been Fred Imhoff again, as it's going back some years. It's just a wooden body. It's a nice little travisher.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one that it's a Japanese type of. It's not really a travisher. It's kind of a compass plane, and it works great too. You adjust it like you would a Japanese plane or a wooden plane, and you get a nice cut on it, nice thin cut, and works great.
Oh wow!
You just can't get up.
Is it rounded in both directions, like front to back and side to side?
No, it's just a wooden body, a short wooden body, probably no more than 3.5 inches long, and just got a radius steel in it, cutting steel, and you just tap it in. It's got a wedge, and all that, and you adjust it and just get a nice. It leaves a scalloped surface. So, if you go in deep, which you don't necessarily do, but leaves a good surface. And the thing is, you can't really get up in the rounded areas up along the gutter and that. It's not reachable in that regard. I have to come back with probably a scorp and just kind of clean that up a little bit, or even a wide gouge, number 3 gouge, and just kind of clean up that area. But there's a ton of them out there. I look at them, I'd like to have that. That might be a nice little addition to things, but it's all money, and what's working is working, and I go with that. So
that's right. So when you're going up against the gutter there, you're mainly using a number 3 gouge to do that.
A wide, a wide one, an inch, and I can clean up fairly good with that, and it does a good job doing that. So it's number 3. It's you just kind of shaving it there. It's not, you're not leaving any wide mark there or anything.
Yeah.
So David, who has influenced you the most in your work?
Well, it probably who influenced, being a woodworker, just going for this, way back in the day, the early 70s, not the early, I guess, mid 70s, when Krenoff came out with his book, what was the name of it? The Art of Cabinet Making, something like that.
Yeah, something like
fine
that.
Art. It was a kind of a pivotal book. It was like, where did this come from? I was at the library and came across it. It was just probably just been put on the shelf, and took that thing home and looked at it, read it. I thought, you gotta be kidding me, this is going on. And so that got me thinking. It got the wheels turning, and it came out right after that the next year with another book. I can't remember it offhand, but yeah, those were big influences right there. Just the whole lifestyle thing, the whole approach to craft, being accurate, using hand tools, building your own hand tools. I thought, oh, this is, I'm not the only one. That's a lot of people have referenced back to him.
Yep.
And then there was another book. This is going back. It was on the desk back when I was talking to you, Kyle, about when I was up working at a boat shop.
Yep.
At a museum in Chesapeake Bay. He had a copy of the book called Reverence for Wood, Eric Sloan's book.
Mm-hmm.
That is not. It's not widely known. It is known. It's illustrated drawings and so forth. It's a story. It's interesting. And I was when I was up there, I was reading it, and he let me take it home and read it for a couple of nights. And I thought, man, hand tool work, and from just wood, talking about wood, and how I learned a lot about moving of wood and structures and why they do things, and just interesting read.
Nice.
And I've got a copy. I found an old copy, original, and I go to it every once in a while just for fun reading, and the Krauss books too. Just
Yeah, they're great. They're fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. But just being a woodworker, it set the tone. It set the direction, and that followed after that. So
Yeah.
important reads.
Fantastic. Well, so what is your white well? The one thing you haven't made but always wanted to?
Timber frame workshop. Yep.
You're gonna move away from the kitchen? Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Well, maybe not, but it's always, our timber frame house. I
Yep.
like to tear off my house is like 190 years old. It's an original federal cape, and it's got an L in the back like they did up here. It's bricks. I got the only bricks federal style house within, I don't know, many miles. You just don't see them. It's an oddity. And I live in a little village here in Maine. It's the oldest building, the oldest house in town, and all that. And it's a neat old house. It is old, and the back end it's old. It's a wooden part of it, and I like to just tear that part down and put up a timber frame structure.
Yeah.
Big great room of some sort. That's and my buddy was up from Montana this weekend. He said, let's do it. He almost had me talked into it. Let's tear that thing down. Let's do it. So I don't know.
Well, hopefully no one in town gets mad at you if you do that.
Well, I don't think they'll get mad. Add to this.
If you got the oldest house in town, yeah.
Well, the one next to me was built 4 years later, and that's the next oldest, I guess.
Okay, there you go.
But most of them are pre or post Civil War, I guess, up the street here.
Yeah,
more 1880s, 1890s, and but I got one of the old federal style here, and it's neat. 190 years old.
Wow.
Built in 1836. And about 90% original, from what I can gather.
Wow. Cool.
Somebody at some point changed out all the windows and put vinyl windows in, and I don't mind it. It makes it a little bit warmer in here. But but it's the molding, the original floors are down. It's just kind of neat.
Very cool.
So
what's your number one tip for fellow woodworkers?
Oh, well, I guess taking care of business. I don't know, so many tips. Maybe the first one is don't quit your day job quite yet. But you do get to that point. Taking care of business. And what I mean by that, you're into it to make money. And as I found out, I thought, I'm going to build chairs for the masses. I want everybody to have one. And you realize you can't really do that. Things cost a lot of money. And, so yeah, just watching your cost analysis, your hours and material and, and,
Yep. Yeah,
yeah,
because you're doing this for a living. You're going to spend half your
yeah.
time on the business end, not the making end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I don't want to do that. Never have. I've always been it, but at nights, just keep track of things, read, and
right.
I haven't always done it, but in the beginning I did because I had to. I had to figure this out, and as I was saying before, ask for help. Don't be afraid, and find a mentor, and doesn't even have to be a craftsman, just somebody, maybe a businessman, and is good at business, understands business, and don't be afraid to talk about business and think about it. And then advisors. This could be another craftsman. A mentor could be another craftsman. Certainly, they got experience, but things we don't know about. I don't know. Insurance and stuff. You got to be thinking about that. Accounting, and right now the marketing. Online marketing, all the social media stuff. AI is doing things as I read into it more and more. These are all things that when I started, we didn't have any of this. Of course, we had to go out and do shows.
Yep.
And and there was a time there I was doing every show within 400 miles of me, and it's fun, but it's not sustainable. And boy, when websites and that came along, the potential there, I saw that right off. I can get off the road, and and unless you got a bricks and mortar thing, but even that, things have changed. People are online; they're buying online, they're looking, they're searching after you. And the other thing is learn about a website, and I'm learning that. There's a lot to that, and how they, listen to what other people have got to say. There's podcasts out there now. What is it? The Handcrafted Network or something like that.
Right.
They have a lot of YouTube things, and you can learn about geared toward the craftsman. And didn't always have that. There'd be people out there talking about website development and that, but it wasn't the same. They're talking about maybe a doctor, or dentist, or manufacturing facility. But for craftsmen, it's entirely different. And it's good to see people who've really into this and learned, and you can learn a lot from them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a really good point because first websites came out and it was like one of those things you can get and or develop, but there was never anything dedicated to craftsmanship. And I think as more as these things keep fragmenting and specializing, you can get really special and get some specialized advice as far as doing that kind of stuff. So that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's changed in the last few years. From my understanding, you can still do it yourself or find somebody who can do it. I can't do it. I'm just not any good at that stuff. But it's still, you don't have to run off and have a firm do it necessarily. It's still doable and getting easier from my understanding with all the different programs that you can go to now. But
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Those would be my advices.
Gotcha.
More.
I like those. Well, last question. What is your go-to finish?
Oh, good one. Well, most of my chairs are painted, but not all.
Right.
And even then, I'll paint a top coat with a linseed oil.
Okay.
And then I'm going to. It depends. Most of the time, I'll use like a tongue oil.
Right.
And just build up some tongue oil finish. I've done for lighter woods. I'll maybe linseed oil and some beeswax mix. Make a paste. It gives it a more mellow. It's a real kind of a dull look, but it's kind of period appropriate. But linseed oil, but I've in the last few years I've used shellac
Yep.
pretty much exclusively, and
Mhm.
I really like it. The only thing is it can make it a little bit glossy, a little shiny, and that's
Mhm.
not always what I'm after. And I'll just go back to using a tongue oil, and it kind of gives it a more matted finish, more appropriate in a lot of ways. But yeah, shellac, I like it. You can put it on, be done with it in a day. It's it's not a finish that people go to anymore, but I do. I like it, and you can make your own. I use it out of a can a lot. I'll thin it down to a 2-pound cut.
Mhm.
And I brush it on. It dries immediately, almost. Give it an hour or two anyway, and you can sand it out. Put another coat on. I put 2 coats on generally,
Yep.
and it's dual. It's a durable finish in my opinion. It can be repaired if something happens, but I just trying to get away from all the VOCs. I can't handle them anymore.
Right.
The polys and all that.
Right.
Well,
Well, I will.
I use like
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah, I hate to. I don't want to be a shill, but our main sponsor, Sutherland Wells, you might want to check out some of their stuff. They have a low or zero VOC tongue oil finish that they do, and it's
Yes.
real
And-
polymerized tongue oil.
Yeah, that's the one I use.
Okay.
Primarily, the one in the yellow can, and
Okay, yeah,
I do. I like that product. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
I've tried, tried and true. It's a little slower drying,
Mhm.
but Southern Wells, I do like that one.
I found out from David Duyard, because I'd been trying finishes all the time, and I go, okay, David has his special thing that he mixes up himself, and I'm like, all right, what is in David's? I know it's real tongue oil. I know it's I forgot what else, and I go, what kind of varnish is he using, or thinner? And I go, what kind of varnish is he using? So I called him up, go, David, what varnish are you using in that finish? He goes, oh no, I've switched. I'm using Sutherland Wells now.
Yeah.
And then when I tried that, I went, oh, this stuff is great. And then they happened to reach out to us about sponsoring. I went, yeah, sure. So they've been sponsoring us for about a year now.
Yep. And it's far different. I used water locks for. I liked it. And I get tired of it. And I come back to it.
It's a VOC stuff, It's like,
man, it's harsh.
You got to wear a respirator, and then your shop stinks for a week after. And it's
it's not too much. That's why I always got tired of it. And now I just can't handle that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's pricey too for what it is, I think.
Mhm.
A little bit, but so that's for what I do. Yeah, that's my go-to finishes, and
cool.
I've used them all. If I had to use polyurethane, if somebody wanted it, but I was doing tables or something. But for a chair, what I got is it's durable. I've used my chairs here at the house. I mean, they've been around forever. They're wearing. That's the way I like it. But that's because I'm sitting in them all the time, and so the paint's coming right off of them. But I like it.
Exactly. Gets that worn-in effect. Well, with that, David, where can folks find you on the internet?
Well, like I said, right now you just you go to my Facebook. You can go to Wright Windsor's, and then again Instagram. I got a gallery of pictures, chairs, and so forth in that in my Instagram. And for now,
All right.
it's the best bet you have. Like I said, I'm working on it, getting this back out in a website format, and just making it better than it was.
Yeah. And I encourage our listeners, go out there and check out your Instagram or Facebook. You got some fantastic chairs out there, just beautiful work.
Well, thank you very much.
And David, thank you so much for being on the show. It was wonderful, and as I told you, between the breaks between episodes, we could spend probably hours and hours talking to you about all the intricacies. But thanks so much for coming on and sharing a little bit about what you've been doing and what you are doing.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I appreciate that.
And that just about wraps it up for this show. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the show on the podcatcher of your choice. Just search for the Modern Woodworkers Association. And while you're there, please leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at MWA_podcast. And if you'd like to support the podcast, go over to patreon.com/MWA podcast. But the best thing you can do is tell a friend. Word of mouth goes a long way in sharing our discussion.